Hi, I'm Vince Weston, and this is my mock-up of my Morgan TC hot rod. Let me bring her in a little. There we go. I've finally gotten it completely re-engineered from the original kit so I could fit the V8 in it, which of course you remember is a Cadillac. I think it's a 342, something like that. Anyway, there has been quite a bit of re-engineering to get to this point. Let's see if we can center that a little better. There we go, that's fine. Anyway, top side obvious views here. I've taken the sides off the hood, as I'm not sure even if I want to use the hood, but I thought this would look kind of cool to give it more of the Morgan look. As you can see, the engine shows through the sides. The engine does come with zoomies, which I'll probably put in so they flare up a little bit, but that's to come yet. I haven't quite gotten there. Without the hood, it looks maybe that looks a little better. Sorry. The engine, of course, is a 1/25th scale engine, and the car is actually a 1/24th. So it looks kind of small, but I kind of like it. They do still have a lot of work to get to that point of finishing that, but the engine is built. There's still some radiator hoses and things to do on that. But additionally, I should use a pointer. When I was working on the interior, I didn't want to do it with the top up. I wanted to do it top down. There is also a windscreen, which is the standard windscreen for an MGTC. But, of course, since I shifted the whole interior back, it's probably 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch back because of the removal of the firewall. And, well, I'll explain this in a minute. And it also is actually up a little bit from where it would normally sit. But I think it gives it a good hot rod look, and it just kind of works for me. But that was part of the re-engineering. Also from the top side, I've redone the interior walls out of sheet styrene. I made it easier on myself by just making the whole sheet, making the sheet fit all the way down into the interior, because there was enough space after I removed the walls and with the shifting back that I could run the whole wall back, the interior piece in back. So that's all the loose parts on the top side. The wheels, of course, I've shown you before. They're just, you know, straight steelies that I've drilled out the holes in, and they're going to work from there. Let's see if I can pick this up. This is the tricky part. Oh, I got to take that off, because that'll fall off anyway. That's the radiator. The underside is where, and getting this all re-engineered, I should probably take the engine out, was where the trickiest part was. And I'll show you the frame. Whoop, there we are. Frame in a minute. I still have not painted anything at this point. Originally I was going to put in the rear end upside down, but I realized that caused the engine to be so low in the engine bay that it looked kind of stupid. So I've put the rear end back into its normal position and feeds through what was sort of the original tunnel. And if I can get this apart, these parts are a little tricky. We'll work up now. Let me place that down. The front end is basically where I've done most of the work. I noticed that the engine actually had engine mounts in it, and what I did was I took some strip styrene and brought them up to where that would be and put it in there. I don't know if structurally in a real automobile if that would actually be functional, but it works to bring the engine up and gets me into position. I've got my transmission tunnel mount set up, and then I think I showed that the last time was the front piece, which goes underneath the fan, and the rest of the frame chassis is all together now. So everything's glued on, front end, rear end. I had to do a little work to get, I don't know, I'm pretty sure I showed you this originally. I used body filler to complete the differential because it was just hollow up on top. So I've got that all shaped up, and it should look okay once it's painted, especially since it'll be hidden from real view, but it'll give it a complete view if you look underneath. One of the things I had to build is the bottom of the well, what would be the floor of the interior. I used the tunnel from the original part, and then I built up flat panels and got them cut out. The original has strips that would be for mounting the wood, so there's metal that holds it together. I've inclusively put it, across where, holding the bottom together to give that a little bit more strength. The other thing, and I'm not sure how well this is going to show up, is, maybe if I can get that into a shadow, is the increase of the size of the tunnel here. I cut this so that the transmission would actually fit into here, and I still needed some more height between it, or well, to fill the gap also between the floor here and the bottom of the interior. So I've taken some thin styrene strips, and, well, it's 2 strips actually, it's all one piece, and glued them upright and give them some supports on the sides to give them a little strength to fill that in so there's not a big gap. And then, let's see, this all looks like it took 10 minutes to do, but it actually took me weeks and weeks. Here's the interior, or what's left of the original interior. If you remember, the original interior had the side walls on it, which I cut off, and I've filled with styrene strip to fill the gaps down here on the floor. So when I'm going to flock the floor, and that should, paint and flock. I still got to do some touch up on my tunnel, which, if you remember from the last time, I cut out and replaced with some styrene strip. I got to smooth that up and with a little filler. Okay, and then onto the body. You can kind of see inside there the interior panels that I made. They're just sitting in there at this moment. What I also had to do, I took some styrene strip here to create a support for the tunnel, the transmission tunnel. Oops, I'm way out of shot there. Sorry. The transmission tunnel of the interior will sit on top of this, and then I've added some strength here. And since I was actually raising everything up, the frame up, I've also put some strip and shaped it to raise this back piece up. And the gas tank goes in like that. I know this is awful hard to see since it's all white, but this is mock-up. So, and I actually put a strip inside there since I actually technically have lowered the gas tank down to meet with the bottom of the new piece, the new bottom of the body. I've lowered it down, so I put a strip inside so there's no hollows there, as you can see there. Okay. Yeah, this was a lot more work than I originally had expected, and it's been fun. You know, I do enjoy scratch building, so getting this all figured out and, you know, engineered to be what I wanted it to be was kind of the tricky part. But we're there now. So the next upcoming battle will be paint, and I'm fitting things back together. And then final assembly. At this point, I do believe that the body sits a little higher than it actually will once I get it together. It'll be a little bit lower onto the, but the sanding sticks is all I had to set it up on. So, also I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, but I did sand out the inside. I probably didn't. I'm just remembering that. I sanded out the rear fenders back here to give it a little bit more height for the tire that will sit inside the wheel well once I get things put together. And basically that was pretty easy. I just took a tire and some double-sided tape and some sandpaper and made a sanding thing, and then went around in the inside twisting and turning and sanded it up until I got it and kept it. So that's how I did both rear wheels. Of course, the front wheels don't need any. They'll be fine, and there'll be plenty of clearance. Oops, sorry. I'm jostling here. So that's kind of where I'm at and what I'm getting to. Let's see, there are not any other thoughts I need to portray at this moment, I think. So, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you in a little bit. Hopefully I'll do another update a little bit sooner than this last one. But of course this is summertime, so, you know, mowing lawns and tending gardens and pools and all that other nice stuff has been getting in the way. So had to do all that stuff and try and do all this engineering changes. That doesn't look like much, but there's a lot to try and figure out there. Alright, so once again, thanks for watching. We'll talk at you later. Bye.